Hello and welcome back to the Cryptic Twist. I'm your host Alex Jones, and today we're going to be looking at the Daily Mail Cryptic Crossword from the 28th of May. Here we go. So one across, clambers another way to put it. I imagine that we're going to have an anagram of clambers that means to put it. Or just put it, but I'm not seeing what the answer is. Okay, let's go to 6 across. Whistleblower in Hereford. So this is a good point to just run through. In a cryptic crossword clue, we are looking for 2 clues in every. This is a good place to just address this. In every cryptic crossword clue, we are looking for both a straightforward definition and then some second clue as well. That might be a second definition, it might be a piece of wordplay. So in this example, whistleblower in Hereford, well, first of all, Hereford is unlikely to be the definition that we're looking for. What 3-letter word could you come up for with Hereford? There isn't just a description that would mean anything. Could mean any town like Hereford, in which case it would probably give us a sort of indicator that Hereford is an example of this. So Hereford here is probably wordplay. The word in this case is looking like a hidden indicator. So within the word Hereford, the individual letters, we have the 3 letters REF in a row, and a referee, is someone who would blow a whistle. So whistleblower is our definition, ref is our answer, and from wordplay we've got it in the answer in the wordplay in Hereford. Okay, that gives us 2 down clues. So we've got 6 down and 7 down. Unyielding soldier breaking free. I'm not seeing the answer. So the word breaking here could be some sort of anagram indicator, but I'm not, if you break a word up and then put it together in a different way, but I'm not seeing 5 letters that we could do that with. It could be that breaking free is our definition, and that we're looking for 2 short synonyms for unyielding and soldier that go together one after the other. Okay, I think we're going to have to come back to that when we've got a crossing letter. Reception area for you inside. I think foyer is likely to be our answer. That is a reception area. If you've got but why in terms of wordplay, and secondly, how are we spelling foyer? Reception area for you inside. So if we're taking this bit, I'm imagining that we've got the word for and that we're putting you inside, but I was going to say you is 3 letters, but there's another word that we could have that means you, ye. It's a slightly older English word, but if we look up ye in the dictionary, then it will say used to address 2 or more people. So in English, you singular and you plural is the same, so that would work. So yeah, it's a word for you that is inside a word. The word for is how we're getting that. And a foyer, let's just look that up. Because my next problem is going to be, how do we spell foyer? And often the wordplay can help with that. If you've got these synonyms or acronyms that are put together, then yeah, it will help out. That's not really giving us exactly the definition that I was expecting. So let's look that up instead. On Google, foyer meaning entrance hall or other open area. So yeah, reception area is perfect. We've now got 2 closing letters here. That's not quite as useful as a starting letter, but that feels like where we're going next. Let's go for this short one. I just assume that a short clue is going to be easier. It's not always the case, but that'll be my preference most of the time. As predicted, drink is knocked back inside. Drink is knocked back. So the word inside here, I'm thinking that something is going inside something else. And maybe back here is indicating that we're going to take a word or a synonym or an acronym. We're going to take something, we're going to turn it around. So instead of sort of ABC left to right, we do it ABC right to left. So we'd read it CBA. As predicted. I'm not quite seeing it. Inquisitive about, for example, a bouquet. A bouquet, I think, could be a posy. So a slightly odd, probably quite archaic word, but a word that a lot of us have heard in the plural. Ring a ring of roses, a pocket full of posies. I think that a posy or posies are equivalent to a bouquet of flowers. Let's have a look at posy meaning. A small bunch of flowers. Yeah, so that feels reasonable. Inquisitive about. So on that basis, I'm thinking that bouquet is part of our wordplay. So if we had that, maybe e.g. could be for example, kind of working backwards here. If something is about, it could be circa. Keg posy doesn't look right, does it? But can we do anything with that? So, or maybe inquisitive. And then maybe we have about, for example, a posy. So let's take out the C, because we're now treating C instead of an abbreviation. We're treating it as a positional word. Let's not do... Now what we're doing with this A, actually, are we doing about, for example, a bouquet, so a bouquet on the outside, e.g. for example in the middle, or are we having about, for example, a bouquet, so for example A on the inside and bouquet on the outside? Let's just try some different bits and see what we get with that. I mean, Nosegay, it's not a word I've ever heard, but it feels the most reasonable collection that we can make out of those letters. So either this is a word that I'm not aware of, which it could be, or it is, or we're on the wrong track and it's something completely different. I'm going to I mean, the fact that it doesn't, yeah, Nosegay doesn't look like a thing, so there is an argument that using a dictionary at this point to just check if something is a word is not quite in the spirit of doing a cryptic crossword, but not too concerned. Okay, well I don't like that, so we're now going to another area and trying again. Float freely up in the air. So here, so first of all, float freely up in the air feels like a very reasonable phrase. Yeah, it just feels like a single phrase that reads naturally. So we need to work out what part of this is going to be our definition and what part is going to be our wordplay. And here, there's a couple of words that, again, look like they could be very positional. So freely could be an anagram indicator. We've got float, which is 5 letters. Maybe we're going to anagram that, come up with a word that means up in the air. In is a very useful sort of joining word. So maybe we're looking for a definition that means air or the air, and our float freely up is maybe a synonym for float freely, and then a synonym or just the letters up. So short synonyms are often very useful. So I think I see what the answer is for this, but let's do something wrong first, just to demonstrate kind of, well, similar to the last clue, how we can do different things each time. So if we're saying that this is this is the air that we're looking for, and we're therefore looking for something that means float and something that means, or sort of float freely and something that means up, then Bob might mean float or float freely. Up could be just there. We've got something that works. That's a legitimate reading of that clue, but it ain't right, is it? Again, if we look for Bob up, we're not going to get anything useful. So what we're going to do here then, let's go with the other interpretation I had. Float freely, an anagram of float that means up in the air. So with this one, we can get aloft fairly straightforwardly. We've got 3 crossing letters here. Let's go with 1, the one that's short, and 2, where we've got a letter at the end. And also 3, these vowels don't look like they're going to be very useful in terms of getting a feel of what the word might be. I might be wrong on that, but it feels likely. Ace, taking some exercise to get fit. Well, other than the word ace, again, this reads very nicely. I think if we take ace as a name, a proper noun, you can make it work. You've got someone who's doing some exercise and getting fit. It feels like a natural reading. So again, just working out where we're splitting this to get 2 separate pieces that come together to make the same thing is going to be difficult. Ace is a short abbreviation for ace. We could have A. So in terms of a deck of cards, you've got your ace, your king, your queen, A, K, Q. So that feels okay. Exercise, there's a short synonym for that, or a acronym of a synonym. So exercise, you might call that physical training. There's I think it's military abbreviation, PT. That'll give us apt, which does mean if something is fit, then it is apt. It's not the sort of fit we were just thinking about. We were thinking of fit there as in terms of physical fitness, but apt is more, it works in the role. It is a good fit. So there we go. Got a crossing letter for this one, but we didn't like it on the first reading, so we'll ignore that one for now. Immature beast eating everything. Immature beast. An immature beast could be, we could be looking for a synonym there for like a young animal. So cub or a leveret or a kitten or something. And that actually isn't crazy. Like that'd be a reasonable definition. And then eating everything maybe could work. Or maybe we're looking for a 3-letter word for beast, and that's going to eat, so the word will take inside of it another word that means everything. So everything could be all. So can we think of a word that means immature that has a beast, an animal that goes around all like that? I'm not thinking of anything at the moment, but I do like this being all, so I'm tempted to see if we like this L as a crossing letter. Fielder, one of Daddy's 6. What could that even mean as a surface reading? I mean, the surface reading I don't think is going to be useful necessarily. I guess it's the surface reading is evoking cricket. A fielder is a cricket position. A 6 is a score that you can get off a single ball in cricket. Maybe Daddy's the batsman. I mean, if this was a 3-4 rather than a 4-3, then I guess leg side fielder. Like it's not quite a position, but that might work. One of daddies. What is 6? It's a half dozen. There's a Roman numeral, VI, for 6. If 6 is part of the wordplay here, then VI is likely to come at the end, which means that we're looking for like a very specific word there. It feels like if this was a word, that would have to be a vowel. So avi, evi, ovi, ivi, uvi. None of those feel likely, do they? So I'm thinking that 6 here is a reference to something that comes in 6, but I can't see what it is. We've tried that one already. We've tried that one already. Not doing very well on our first pass here, I think. At this point, we've tried everything that has a crossing letter, so I'm just going back to doing all the acrosses, and we'll work through the downs afterwards. View, finally, that is most extensive. So, view, finally, could be a W. That is, could be shortened to IE. I mean, at this point, I quite like widest. But can we make that work? That is, view, finally, that is most, not seeing it. Also, W here feels like it's problematic in terms of finding an animal. I can't think offhand of a 3-letter animal that ends in W. I mean, this is the point where people say it's clearly this animal, but I'm not saying it right now. Boss puts right after error. Error could be a mistake. The word after here makes me think that we're looking for the error and right, and maybe and put as well, a part of our wordplay. So maybe a word for error, and then after that we have something that means right. Maybe. So boss. Boss could be a head of the department. I'm not sure. Quick attack, seizing power. If you seize power, that might be a coup. The word seizing here could be positional, rather than heading towards a definition or acronym. If you seize something, you grab it and take it. So this might be a word for attack that has a P inside of it. What could an attack be? It could be a blow, a slap. What might quick be with for 5 letters? Again, I'm just not seeing it. Delivery made by down-to-earth supplier. First course for race official. So my first thought here, which was not the right thought, I think I can see what this is. My first thought here was that first course might be the first letter of course. And then we might be looking, and then we might have a word that means for, and then a word that means race, and then maybe we're looking for official. But race official feels very natural as a 2-word phrase. So, and for can be a useful joining word. So then I'm thinking, well, what if first course and race official are 2 parts of the clue? Well, which part of that is going to be our definition? To a certain extent, well, lock in your answer now. First part is first course, or is race official the definition? It was a trick question. I think they're both the definition. So I think we're looking for starter. So first course would be a starter, or an appetizer, and a race official might be the person with the starting pistol, the starter. So that's what I think we've got there. So this is the first double definition I think we've seen today. Everything else so far has been wordplay. Short, twisted, fibre. So twisted feels like it's an anagram indicator. If you're going to take letters and just twist them into a different position, then that feels like what that could be doing. And fibre and short are both 5 letters. So again, we just need to choose which side we think is is our definition and which side is our wordplay. Now, short, I can't see anything that I can turn that into. Thros, not helpful, THROS. But fibre, we can turn that into brief, which does mean short, so that feels good. Can it turn north? Okay, I think I see this. So turn here is one of our sort of little things that we can latch onto. If we're going to turn something, then, I mean, it could be an anagram indicator. It could be indicating that we're just going to turn a word around. So here we've got the word it. If we turn that around, and instead of having it, we have TI, north, in terms of compass points, north, south, east, west, can be N. And can, rather than being the start of a question, can you do this, is going to be, therefore, a noun, a tin can, a tin. There we go. We've got a couple of really good crossing letters down here for this word. But while we're doing the acrosses, let's do the last one and then we'll come back to that. Pleasure seeker, curiously, might have done this. I feel like a pleasure seeker could be a hedonist. So I'm now in the position where I need to justify that. Yeah, so done this is 8 letters and looks like it's an anagram of hedonist. So I think curiously might have is our anagram indicator. And while it's not as explicit as some of the ones that we saw earlier, I think it's very fair in terms of being one. If we're like, you've got might in there that indicates that something may not be correct. You've got curiously, which indicates, just kind of prodding at stuff. So I think that is what's going on. I think that's very reasonable. Okay, let's start at the bottom on the downs because we've gone a bit better down here. We've got a lot of crossing letters. Container for a bit of bread at home. I think this is a different sort of clue actually. Oh no, I see. So my first reading of this is that it's what's called a cryptic clue. The whole clue is the definition, and it kind of refers to something so specifically that it can only be that one thing. So a container for a bit of bread at home. It's going to be a bread bin, so we get bin. Actually, I don't think that's what's going on. I think we're taking a bit of bread, the B, and then a synonym for at home. If you're at home, you are in. You're not out, you're in. So we've got 2 different ways there of reading this clue to get to the answer bin. I think it's the latter way that was intended, because otherwise that's just really lucky. I think it's more likely that this one method was intended, and it happens to feel like it could be a cryptic clue for bin. Okay, Frank is not attractive. So here I'm thinking Frank is 5 letters and is not could be an anagram indicator, but can we make that work? Like, we've not got much space to play with, and these are all consonants. I mean, it doesn't feel like the F can go there, but then we've got an R and a K. So let's say that we put the F there. Well, the K can't go there, and the K can't go there. So it doesn't feel like it can. So instead, let's put the K there. Well, now the F can't go there, and the F doesn't feel like it can go there. So maybe this isn't an anagram. Maybe I'm missing something. If you're frank, you are curt, you are short, you are honest, you are open. If you are not attractive, you are plain. Yes, that works. If you're frank, then you are plain talking. frank meaning. Honest, open, and direct in speech or writing. So direct in speech, plain talking. That's the synonym that we're looking for there. And if you're not attractive, then you are plain. Let's see if we've got that there. No, because I'm not looking at. Let's look at plain. Not decorated or elaborate, simple or basic in character. It's a bit that's damning. All right. Some ignore sight for further examination. So, I'm seeing the word some there, and I think this is the first time that we're seeing a hidden in this. Some might be saying that we are going to take, I don't know, we saw ref earlier, didn't we? So some, I think, is indicating that we're looking for a part, for some, of ignore sight. And we can see there we've got the S and the T, which appear one away from each other here. If we use that as the basis for our text string, then we get RESIT, which is a resit or a further examination. If you sat the exam once and you need to do it again, you need to sit it a further time, then that would be a resit. Okay, what else have we got then? The poet we hear is excluded. So we hear is going to be a homophone indicator. So we're either looking for a name of a poet that sounds like a word that means excluded, or we're looking for a word that means excluded that sounds like a poet, or in this case something that means the poet. So as I was talking that through, I think I got it. So if you're excluded from doing something, then you are barred from doing it. And a poet might be referred to as a bard. But if you're referring to someone as a bard, then we're talking bard like that. But we're going to spell that differently. If you're excluded from doing something, then you're barred from doing it. So that feels good. Cheat or rascal, not working. If something is not working, then it isn't on, it is off. Cheat or rascal, not working. Rascal. So probably a three letter word that means rascal to go in here. What could that be? Rascal. It's got to be a full word as well, because it's the Queen is surrounded by chips or ships. So I think this is going to be a synonym for queen that is surrounded, that has around it a word for chips, and that's going to mean ships. So we've got the S, so it's plural. But what's that going to be? And then or here is a linking word with linking our definition ships and what I think is our wordplay. The Queen. The Queen could be R for Regina. It could be Q, as in chess notation for Queen. Or it could be ER, as in Elizabeth Regina. There's a rule abbreviations that we might see. You'll know this one here, if not from the phrase Elizabeth Regina from, if you're in the UK, post boxes from anything that has the Queen's royal cipher on it. Carrier wouldn't work, or carriers wouldn't work because there's not enough space here for that. I'm not saying it. I think we come back when we've got a crossing letter. We'll see. Desperate jockeys, final obstacle. I see it. The question mark here is saying that it's something slightly odd. It might not be exactly what you might see in a dictionary, I think. So a jockey's final obstacle, there are two things that jockeys tend to jump over. or their horses jump over. One, you've got a hurdle or hedge, and two, which are jumping over, and two, you might have a hole or a trench, and they're looking to, again, jump over that. So I think the final hurdle here is going to be the last ditch. And if you are making a desperate attempt at something, then you would refer to that as a last ditch try. So I think that's what we're going for. Okay, immature beast we've given a go. Unyielding soldier we've given a go. Comfortable situation for a professor. And again, we've got a question mark, so we'll try and work out what that question mark means, but it's probably relevant. So then, so if the definition were to be professor, then why would it need a question mark? I don't think it would. So I don't think our definition is professor. It might be that we've got situation for professor, situation for a professor, and that also means comfortable. And again, like we had earlier, it's a double definition, maybe with a slightly punny take. I think that's actually maybe the most likely thing, because unless for a professor is wordplay in some respect, but again, I think that's going to come back to saying that's slightly punny. So a comfortable situation, something couch. What do professors have that's particular about them? A professor has. What if this isn't a professor in an academic sense? Someone who professes, I think professors means to talk about it's something to do with speech. If you profess, you would say something, but you say it in a certain way. Like confessor is someone who's saying a certain claim that one has a quality or feeling when it's not the case. Affirms one's faith in or allegiance to. So it's talking positively about something, kind of. So you might be talking it up. Talk doesn't feel like it's going to work with comfortable situation though, does it? Anyway, it might not be that. It might be to do with the academic type of professor. All right, I think we're coming back to that one as well. Building up quite a list of problems here. Harmless guys first seen in African country. So, African country, I'm immediately thinking Guyana, but I don't think that is seen in Africa. How do you spell Guyana? Is it like, not like that. Is it like that? Seen in could be a hidden indicator, or could just be a linking phrase. Kanku, Rekank, I can't see that. Someone then, or this could be the first letter of Guy seen in an African country that gives us harmless. So if you're harmless, you are, I'm not sure. I think the one country we can be pretty sure that this ain't talking about is the country Niger. Harmless. Guys first. What African countries could it be? An African country with 5 letters. Kenya? I'm not seeing it. Outside Geordie territory, many people get hit on the head. Outside Geordie territory, many people get hit on the head. And many people might be a crowd. Many people get hit on the head. The head of something like the first letter, so like Geordie territory. I mean, what could that mean? Newcastle doesn't fit, which would be Geordie territory. And what does outside mean? Geordie territory, many people. If you were saying many people in a Geordie accent, might you refer to them as the lads? Thinking of Uwe the lads, but I think I am reading too much into that. Okay, let's go back then and let's go back and try and do some of these ones where we've got crossing letters. Quick attack, seizing power. Okay, easy with 3 crossing letters. That's going to be rapid. Our quick attack is going to be a raid. Our attack is going to be a raid. Seizing power, the letter P, which is a physics abbreviation, will give us quick, rapid. That's fine. We've got an S in this now. Finally. I mean, widest still fits. That is most. If there was a D there, does that help? Outside Geordie territory, a 2-letter word for Geordie territory. Many people could be crowd still. If we did it like that and we had a 2-letter word there, then we'd need this to mean get hit on the head. Ah, yes, that is what we're doing. But that goes there. And NE is, I presume, a short version of Newcastle, Geordie territory. And hit on the head, you'd get crowned. So your crown is the top of your head. So hit on the head would be crowned. Is that in the dictionary, or are we just going to have to refer to crown being the top, and if you get hit, therefore it's crowned? Ceremony, you place a crown. Rest on. Hit on the head, informal, number 5. There we go. So yeah, that looks fine. It makes widest look really good, doesn't it? View. Finally that. So maybe the finally is not looking at the W. Maybe the finally is looking at that, and we're taking the last letter of that, the T, and view might mean wides. I don't like it. I think it is going to be widest because we can make elements of it work in terms of the wordplay. If something is the most extensive it can be, then it's got sort of the widest reach. It's got the widest application. So that feels okay. Beast could be a cow, which would give us callow. Callow is a word that I have heard. But does it mean immature? So we've got beast, cow, eating everything, taking inside of it all, giving callow. Let's have a look at callow. Let's see if that is what that means. Callow meaning of a young person, inexperienced and immature. Okay, we got there. And now we've got 3 good crossing letters over here. Okay, so it is a fielder. And one of Daddy's 6. Daddy here is referring to a daddy long legs, which is a spider which has 6 legs. So the answer here is long legs, or sorry, long leg, which is kind of a double definition. And again, notice in the second definition we've got the question mark. So a fielding position, long leg. We can look that one up. It is. Oh, where is long leg? Long leg, I think, if I was the batsman looking down, it's the person on the boundary, sort of in front and slightly to my left, if I'm a right-handed batsman. So long leg meaning in cricket, player who fields. and the position of long leg. I like how the AI definition of goes, long leg is a person who plays at long leg. It's not overly helpful sometimes, is it? Okay, but then the other definition then, one of daddy's 6. So it's one of his 6. It's one long leg of his 6 long legs. We've got the G down here. So that's guys first. Something is harmless. And what country could this be? Harmless feels like it's an adjective. So it wouldn't surprise me if you had a Y on the end. We've got a C here now. Clambers another way to put it. Scramble. So yeah, our first thought on this one was that it was an anagram of clambers. So scramble means clambers, but it's written in another way. It's an anagram. Okay. An African country beginning with B. Should really show my ignorance of African countries here, aren't I? Harmless guy. Harmless. If you're harmless, you are benign. Is Benin an African country? I have not heard of that. Benin is an African country, next to Togo. I have at least heard of... Oh, have I heard of Togo, or am I thinking of Tonga? So I do wonder if we can only see Benin when we're this far out because we've looked for Benin. Like as you go further in, like it's near Togo, it's near Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Liberia, like it's in that difficult bit of Africa where you are never entirely clear about what... I'm never entirely clear about where on a map individual countries are. And actually, I'm surprised. I thought that... I did not know that Niger was a landlocked country. I thought that came down to the sea. So clearly, I'm clear. I mean, in many ways here, my African knowledge is not up to scratch. Mauritania. Sure. I'm glad Mauritania didn't come up. Looks like it'd be a very tricky one to get an answer from. Okay, so benign means harmless. Example. Inquisitive example. Sorry. Inquisitive about, for example, a bouquet. Okay, so ending in gay earlier was right, but we were doing it the wrong way round. So about, it's not about, for example, we have the word meaning a bouquet. It is a word meaning inquisitive, which is about, for example, to get a bouquet. So I should have seen this one earlier because my thinking on, or posegay could be a word because nosegay is a word. I don't think I said it out loud, but that was my thinking when we looked it up. But a nosegay is a word. I would have said that it was something... Oh yeah. So that's what for example's doing, but it's not. I would have said that a nosegay was just something sweet smelling. I wouldn't necessarily said that it was a bouquet. So what we're doing is we're getting nosy, and we're putting that around. Oh, sorry. Nosy is Nosy is N-O-S-Y, and we're putting that around or about, for example, a, e.g. a, nosegay. Okay, let's look up nosegay because that is also a weird one. A small bunch of flowers, typically one that's sweet-scented. Okay, so I got the sweet-scented bit on that, but I'm surprised that it's specifically a bunch of flowers, actually. What could this be then? Regal? No. Unyielding soldier, breaking free. Soldier, part of a regiment? No, still not seeing it. Comfortable situation for a professor. Easy street. something is... Oh, it's not easy street, there's not enough letters. That's how we check the number of letters. Easy speak for professor. Oh, what could this be? I mean, easy feels very likely, doesn't it? If something is comfortable, it's easy. The easy life, easy, I'm not sure. As predicted. So my problem with as predicted as our definition is the R here feels like it won't be, it doesn't feel like a phrase meaning as predicted could end with an R. As predicted, as I foresaw, as, and then drink is knocked back. That's because it's not something meaning as predicted. So this is a really weird one actually, because I think our definition is drink, which is in the middle, and that's very unusual. Your definition is almost always at the start or the end of a clue. So drink is knocked back inside as predicted would be like a more normal way of putting it as a clue, but it doesn't read well at all. This reads much better, but means that you've got your definition in the middle. So knocked back inside. Knocked back, as we said earlier, means it's going to go backwards, and inside is indicating a hidden. So inside, as predicted, we're looking for a 5-letter word that ends in R. Here's our R, R-E-D-I-C. We put that back, we're going to get cider. That feels very reasonable. Easy chair? A professor might be referred to as a chair. Like, if you've got a professor at a university, I think it might be, I think this comes up maybe in his Dark Materials about the fictional Jordan College at Oxford, and maybe it comes up in the Discworld novels with the Unseen University for Wizards. You've got the Chair of Indefinite Studies, for example, and I think who's a professor, a teacher at the university. So that feels like it could be a comfortable situation, might be an easy chair. It wouldn't surprise me if that wasn't right, but we've got an answer that feels like it works. Comfortable situation as our sort of main definition. Comfortable situation for a professor being kind of a cryptic definition, a single definition that kind of there can only be one answer to. It feels okay. Delivery made by down to earth. Airdrop. If you airdrop something, then you're airdropping that delivery, you're making it. And I think down to earth supplier is very literally, when you supply it, you're taking it from not on the earth down to on the earth. So again, that is kind of a cryptic definition, I think. Imp off? I don't like that. The Queen. So we've got a place for an R now. So I feel like that's going to be ER. By chips. Or could this be... No, I was going to say, could this be warship? But it obviously can't. There's not enough space for the SH. A chip. The Queen was ER. No. What if the Queen is just R? And we're looking at the Queen is being R is, and then that's surrounded by chips. And then that means ships. That feels so specific that we'd be able to see it if it was, I think. Boss put right after error. An error could be a gaffe. And if we have right after that, we get gaffer. So if you cheat someone, you might rip them off. So this could be rip off. That means that a rascal might be a rip, which could easily be some sort of like Victorian slang. There's a lot of like individual scoundrels, like a pickpocket might be a dip or similar. A rip, a fraud or a swindle, which isn't. I mean, a fraud or a swindle is a noun, but it's kind of a noun of an action, whereas a rascal is a noun of a person. It's a name of a person. So I think that probably is rip-off. I just don't think I'm quite seeing exactly what it is. Frigate? No. Fries. Ferries, yeah. So the ships is ferries, and our chips are going to be fries, and that's surrounding the Queen, ER. Okay. So we've only got this one now. Unyielding, you might be rigid. Breaking free. Okay, yes. So a soldier, an American soldier, might be a GI. And that is going to break. It is going. That's going to break the word free. The word free in this case, we're looking for a synonym. If you are rid of something, you are free of it. And the soldier is going to break free. We're going to take our word free or rid, and we're going to put something in the middle of it, thus breaking that in two. So this will be rigid, which means unyielding. Wow. Like. We got there. We took a long time. I did stop to take a phone call partway through, but without pausing it. But that did take a while. Now let's just have a look over this. I think this was both quite difficult, I think, for a Daily Mail crossword, and I think it was also very fair. Like, there were certainly bits in there where we needed some inspiration, some crossing letters to attack the answer in a different way. But for the most part, we very much understood exactly what was going on. There was nothing in there that felt like completely ridiculous. We weren't looking for anything completely, any really archaic language. Like rip here is, I think, the worst that we had on that front. And easy chair, yeah, that was a bit of a tricky one, I think, as well. But with the crossing letters, it wasn't ridiculous. And some of the other ones that we found tricky as well, cider, for example, we just didn't read it right the first way. Oh, widest we didn't understand, did we? Yeah, if anyone can work out 14 across, the wordplay for that one, put it in the comments, because I'm not sure. But yeah, I thought it was a really good one. So thank you, Michael Curl, for today's crossword. Okay, if you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe. We'll be back again tomorrow with hopefully the video for the 29th. Feel free to give it a go yourself before watching the video. And yeah, if you've got any problems, we'll see if we can solve them. Until then, thank you very much.